So today I'll be reviewing the show Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So I finally got around to watching the show. It took me a couple days to fully get through it. Usually don't start new shows unless I'm really interested in them, or in this scenario it's connected to the Monsterverse. It's my favorite movie universe at this point. And it looked really good. It did look good from the trailer, so I decided to check it out. And my overall thoughts, I thought it was fine. There's stuff I really liked about it that I'll get into, but then there's a lot of stuff that bothered me. I don't want to say it's a complete letdown, but it was not a show that I would watch again. I'd pull up certain scenes, and I did not like a lot of this show. But why don't we just get into I'll start out generally speaking about the positives first. The positives about this show, it was a 10-episode show. But I would say the first episode and the last episode are easily the best. The first and last had a lot of really exciting scenes. The monster action is really good. I'm really happy to see more footage from the characters in the Monsterverse. When I say characters, I mean the monster characters. It's really cool to see Godzilla on screen again. And the scenes with him were excellent. I loved the extra look you got into this world. I really liked the scenes that you got to see a different angle from very famous scenes from old movies, such as Godzilla 2014. You get another scene of that bridge scene, and I thought that was excellent, the way you see a different side, or you see a character that was in that scene that you didn't know about, and I loved that. I loved all the expansion into Bill Randa's character about just who he was. Overall, I think the monsters, the designs of all of them were excellent. And as far as that goes, the monsters did their job. It's cool to see these extra scenes of Godzilla that we wouldn't have gotten if the show didn't exist. But why don't I get into my negatives? My negatives for this show, there's a lot of slow scenes. And like I said, there's some cool storylines. And I was intrigued in the first episode and a little bit throughout parts of the show. But I've got to be honest, a lot of the show was slow. It was hard to get through. And a lot of the character decisions throughout these shows, I didn't understand. Certain characters stick together for no reason at all. I mean, one character, I won't even say the names just to not spoil it. But one character follows a certain character. And it ends up she betrayed them. She totally sold them out the whole time. But then the character kind of acts a little mad at first, but then just totally gets over it. Like, this character literally just betrayed you, and everyone you're with screwed you over and is immediately forgiving her for no reason. I mean, that part of the show really took me out of it. I'm thinking, why? Then the same character is totally against another main character for no reason, not trusting him, but then she trusts someone that just screwed her over. So I gotta say, there's a lot of logic missing in this show with certain characters. And I will say, for a show being called Monarch Legacy of Monsters, there's not much monsters going on. I liked the addition of the Ion Dragon. It's kind of a cool creature that was introduced at the end. But I gotta be honest, for this show to be 10 episodes and only have as much monsters as it did, I was kind of disappointed by that. I don't need monsters flying around 24/7 than the entire show. But I think the show easily could have been 5 episodes. You could have had this half of the episodes it had. It could have been 5 instead of 10 and had way more monster action. I believe it was either episode 3 or 4 where we just have characters walking through ice for 30 minutes. And I'm just sitting there like, what are we doing here? And yeah, just definitely a warning. If you're going into the show, expect to see a bunch of monster action. Do not expect it because there's not a lot. It's few and far between. There's a lot of slow build up to scenes. And the other thing is, this show misses something very big. I know this is connected to the Monsterverse as far as I know. And it creates some new things that I don't know if this is going to be connected to the movie universe, but it's very new, different things that even I can't understand, who follows these movies religiously, watching every single one. And I thought I knew everything about it. They introduce a new realm in this show that is still not really fully explained to me. And I've never seen it used in the movies. So if it is introduced, this will once again go into one of my complaints that I have about Marvel and the shows they introduced, that you should not have to watch the shows to understand the movies. I think you should be able to watch them to get extra stuff, to get extra monster action. And they introduce a kind of portal that sends monsters through it, and then the portal also sends you to another dimension that I know in the MonsterVerse, there's Hollow Earth that you do kind of go through a portal, I guess, kind of to get to Hollow Earth, but it's still accepted that it's in the Earth. This sends you to a different realm that I have no idea where it is. You see our main character Godzilla that we followed through 4 movies appear here, and I don't know if he knows how he's getting there or how we know he's going to get back to Earth to be in the next movie. I am really so confused about that still. But overall, I'd say the characters, a lot of these characters really did bother me. There's a few that are kind of likable. I do think that this show does get really confusing in the way that it has 2 different timelines, essentially. You have a younger version of characters, an older version of characters, kind of going back and forth the whole time. I was able to keep up, and I don't think that was too much. It led to some cool scenes where you finally see them connecting from the past to the present. But I do honestly think they could have had one show of just the younger version, or the past, I guess, version of characters, and then the more present one. They could have been 2 different shows. I don't think they had to happen at the same time. But yeah, overall, I think a lot of these characters bother me. There's a lot of slow scenes. It's hard to get through. There's really cool monster scenes and monster action for sure. There's scenes I've looked up again because they are cool scenes. And I'm glad to get more fight scenes, more different monsters, obviously, for my channel. But yeah, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I'd have to not recommend this show. I don't know if I usually don't give grades to shows, but I would rank this below average. Unfortunately, I think it could have been trimmed down. It could have been condensed easily 5 episodes. I did not enjoy this show overall. I enjoyed the monster stuff, but I have no intention of watching it again. If you enjoyed it, I'm very glad. I hope they make another season because I want to see more monster shows. I want to see more in this universe, but I don't want it to turn to Marvel where there's like 15,000 different shows that you can never keep up on. I don't want it to turn into that, but if it's a couple extra episodes, just with some extra monster action and different stuff expanding the lore, I am perfectly fine with that. But yeah, make sure you let me know down below if you watched this show, what you thought of it. Let me know if you think they should make a season 2, or if they are making a season 2. Maybe they are, I don't know. Make sure you let me know down below, and thanks for watching.